for the deceit of funds. So before we get into that, I want to just first address the lunatic. Let's go into that scripture that was brought forth about that. Now, my brother, you had did a whole teaching about lunacy, saying that the people who follow the correct Sabbath are lunatics. And I watched your teaching as well as took notes. A lot of the scriptures that you cited had nothing to do with the Sabbath, nothing to do with justifying what you're saying, but one scripture that you brought forth that had that word in it. So I want to bring forth that scripture that you used to call myself and others lunatics. And let's see if you truly accurate in your studies. Me, myself, I don't think you are. In fact, I know you're not. That's why I want to bring it back to you. Now again, when we're dealing with the Most High, we must know and first research all information and know what we're talking about before we bring that information to the public or the congregations that's waking up. You cited Matthew chapter 12 verse 24 to justify for what you meant. And I'm going to read that. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all the sick people that were taken with diverse diseases. Diseases, brother. It told you right there. Diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. Okay. Keyword, lunatic. Now, let's go into what the Strong's Concordance say a lunatic is. Because y'all brought half the definition. Now, according to the eSword, if you look it up, it's G, Greek, 4583. And it's pronounced Sel-a-ni-a, Zambia. Salaniad Zambia. The definition is middle or passive voice from a presumed derivative of 4582 to be moonstruck. That is crazy. Be lunatic. Okay, let's go to 4582. Sel-a-na. Sel-a-na. The moon. Moon. Now that was the definition from the eSword. But this is why you have to use both eSword and Strong's Concordance and put together the best meaning. Because sometimes, being that the eSword is in electronic form, it doesn't have all the full records of the book. So let's go right now to the book and identify that whole definition in full. And let's see if you're right about people who count the Shabbat from the Sabbath are we lunatics. Let's see if that's what that definition truly means, since you didn't bring the whole definition forth. And again, I'm not your enemy, but I will defend the gospel of the Most High with truth and not add to it, even against myself. 4582. The Strong's Concordance says, to be moonstruck, crazy, be a lunatic. Salanazia, lit, to be moonstruck. The moon is used in the passive voice with active significance. Lunatic, and it refers to Matthew chapter 4, verse 24, which you cited. Also Matthew chapter 17, verse 15. The corresponding English word is lunatic. Epilepsy, again. Epilepsy, again. Epilepsy was supposed to be influenced by the moon. So therefore, my brother, for not bringing the correct understanding to the lunatic, that's why I told you it was he brought the people that was filled with diseases before it started naming the diseases. Okay? Lunatic was referred to people who had epilepsy. And back in them days, they thought that it was to be triggered by the moon. So we must get clear, full understanding before we go left on our teachings. Please. I'm not your enemy, but I do follow the Most High. Also, you also told people that the new way, the new moon, is not the way of following the Sabbath, not keeping the, it's not the right way to keep the Shabbat. It's improper. You try to make it like we devil worshipers and worship in the moon. But, my brother, I have a question for you and your organization. How is it that, though you put these things in the video, I come across literature from your Hebrew Bible Academy, which I'm going to bring forth, in which you precisely taught the same information that I'm bringing forth about the true Sabbath and time. So it makes me say, is this brother not understanding what he's teaching in his class as opposed to the video? Or it makes me question to say, for $150, you get the truth. Now I ask you, my brother, you tell me. Let's refer to some of your own. I'm going to zoom in. As you see, this is paperwork from your class, the Gathering of Christ, the Hebrew Bible Academy. It's called The Breakdown of Creation. And I want to read some of the things you have in here that I do agree with. But this is not what you're telling the people. So I needed to find out what's going on. And why you're saying one thing in the video, but you're selling the information for a price. On your page 8 in your literature, you cite Genesis 1 and 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Okay? You says 1 and 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And you cite 16 all the way through 19. But what I want to reflect on is your comment to it. And this is what it says in your literature. Right here. I'm going to read it. Be reading this line.